Hi my friend, how are you? This is Pat Sloan for my daily video, and our topic for today is on our calendar to double check. Plus we have the jelly roll and a snowflake today kicks off, and I have a Q&A at the end. So okay, what is double check? What I'd like you to do is double check your 1/4 inch seam allowance today, because you may have not checked it for a while. You may have maybe changed feet. Maybe you're on a different machine. And it's really important because my theory, my theory of patchwork is that I create and position the needle on my machine wherever it needs to be in order so I have a 1/4 inch, an accurate 1/4 inch seam. Sometimes your 1/4 inch foot is not really going to do it for you. You double check it, and you actually do this test I'm going to show you, and you are not at an accurate 1/4 inch. Or you might have not, might have done a little bit off on your sewing. Maybe you weren't totally right where you need to be. So you need to check things, and I will show you, and I'll have a link below because this will take you there too, to what I have a tutorial on this. But I double check by sewing 3 2.5 inch squares together, because this is all about math. 2, 2, 2, which will be 6, right? So 2, 2, 2 is 6 plus a 1/4 inch plus a 1/4 inch. That means this should equal 6.5. If it does not equal 6.5 after I sew these 3 together, that means there's a problem. Something didn't get sewn right. One of those 2 seams, or maybe what you cut, was not accurate. So here I am putting this down here, and I can see, if I want to be really particular, you can see it here. There's like what, 1/16, 1/32 of a space between that patchwork and the 6.5 inch line. See that little teeny tiny little fraction of a space. So do I worry about that? If I want to do really accurate patchwork, yes. So this is the test. You sew these 3 together, and then you have to figure out, well, were one of these 3 patches, let me pull back, were one of these 3 squares not accurate, or did one of those 2 seams not be accurate? And even if you put this shows a 1/4 of an inch, and that shows a 1/4 of an inch. So it's really just a smidgen off. And whether you would fix the patchwork, now this is a test piece, so of course I don't have to do anything. What I would do would be to do another one, because it's so close. I would do another test piece and just see if maybe my cutting was off on 1 or 2 of the blocks, which would have made them a little bit smaller for some reason. I've been having really good luck with the foot on my Baby Lock Solaris. I've got the wider, the Baby Lock 1/4 inch foot. I got the wider one, and I'm finding it to be very accurate. So I suspect either I was pushing a little bit too much, ate up a little bit more than the real 1/4 inch, or one of those 3 blocks maybe wasn't cut exactly right. And considering I'm dealing with not being able to put a lot of pressure down, I would go with one of these 3 were maybe not cut exactly right, because I know I just cut this one off of some scraps. So you can think through it and figure out what's going on. So that is what you do today for your topic of the day. So now we have a snowflake. I have my first original snowflake up there. And yes, I could have rerun this whole thing with using that. And then most of the posts, I'm just going to redo the posts from before. Plus I have the video from Kimberly Jolly put into my post now. Links are below. But I wanted to do the pink and red snowflake. That is what I wanted to do. But at the time when all this came about, and my friend Sue was going to sew it, it was much easier to give her that jelly roll and let her sew this one, because I was going to be having to fussy position fabric for the pink and red. And so anyway, here it is. Here is the first one. This is with the Dear Christmas fabric, and I'm using the pink and the red, and I will be using the green. So there I'm working on the stars, which is the second part. So I want to show you. Let me just unhook this part. Let's see if I think I can reach over here with the mic. Pull up, pull up, pull up, pull up, up. Okay, so here is what my snowflake will look like. There we go. I've got it up there. Let me just pin it, and I will leave my pink and red one up there while we're talking. So that is what I'm going for. Mostly pink and red with green stars. And I am not sure how I'll do the middle yet. And I know that a lot of you on the fourth section, which are the plus sign in the middle there, those arms, you wanted them angled because some people had done that. And one of our friends sent me her directions for angling. So depending on my time, I may just give her directions and then you can use them. She just wrote down her notes, and so we'll see what I'm able to do by that time. But here we go. That is the start of the jelly snowflake. And if you didn't start at all, what I would recommend is sort of looking through your jelly roll, like I have it here. So like for the Dear Christmas, there are some that are light background, there are some that are green. It has red, whoops, and pink, obviously, red and pink. And it also has yellow and turquoise. Can I get the turquoise? Yeah, turquoise. Whoops, there you go. The turquoise. And so, you know, like if you're using a light background, like my background is pale pink. But if you're, see, it's not white. I've got pale pink. But if you were using a white background, then maybe white background strips they're not really going to show up. So if you don't have to use them, don't. If you want to control the color, like the first time around, this was a mystery. So nobody really knew what we were making or what it's going to, we knew it was a snowflake, but you didn't know whether it was a bunch of snowflakes or, you know, what the snowflake looked like. So this would be, you know, something you can see now. You can see if you want to have red in one place, or if you're doing all blue, do you want a blue background and have all sparkly, you know, light white of the snowflake, which is so pretty. People have done that over in the group. It is so pretty. But you have a little bit of planning you can do today, and then make 4 of the first block from the pattern. And of course the whole pattern's there now, so if you wanted to zoom along, if you're one of those friends of ours that likes to just start and keep going, you don't want to do it each week, you can do that. But it's kind of fun, even if you know what it is. Of course, we do lots of things where we know what it's going to look like, to just do the parts each week. Now, we had, I don't remember who asked this, but here's a Q&A question I had. One of our friends said to me, you know, this was done with 4 of my friends. We did Bev of Flamingo Toes, Sherry McConnell, and Chelsea, Sherry's daughter, who is also a designer, and they team up to do their fabric, and then they both have their own pattern lines and books. So there's 4 of us, and one of our friends asked, you know, how do the 4 of you design something like this together so that it looks good? It's like, well, in this case, we did not. That's not how this worked. The Fat Quarter Shop designed this, and then they asked the 4 of us to host a pattern so that we made it, we shared to the people who normally follow our work, and we each hosted a sew-along, basically to our own groups. And so if that makes sense. But the Fat Quarter Shop designed it. It was designed by one person, probably Jocelyn over there. She does a lot of their designs. Other times there are sew-alongs where the designers do collaborate. Often it isn't to make one image like this. It's usually to do a sampler, you know, so that everybody will do their own block, like the Splendid Sampler. We had, you know, gosh, I don't know whether there was 100 blocks, so there was like 80 designers, something like that. And they designed one sampler block, and then they all went into the quilt. So samplers are a lot easier. If you're designing an image like this or a project like this, that is kind of tough to have 4 people designing together. So you don't find that very often. It's not really the norm. Okay. Now, next week for the Jolly Snowflake will be the stars. Now, you can see the stars. So the stars, I am doing mine with green. So I have been working on the star points this week, but I want to show you what I'm doing for the middle. Rather than using the pink in the middle, or like here it was the white in the middle, you have got all of these strips. Look here, you've got all these strips from your Jelly Snowflake your jelly roll rather. So I am doing a centers like this, 4 patches for my stars. So my star will have a 4 patch in the middle, like that. See? Because I wanted to use these super cute little reindeer, little Bambis, Christmas Bambis. I just think they're so cute. So that is, you have a lot of extra strips. I mean, you could probably do 2, I'm not sure, you probably do 2 of these quilts from the strips, because there's quite a few. Now, a lot of people have taken the extra strips and put them like a piano key around the outside, or they've done some other variations, more star blocks around the outside. I'm not sure what I'll do, because I do not want to add the yellow and the turquoise to the quilt. But I have the whites and I have more pinks and reds and greens, so I might do a piano border on mine. And piano border is just doing strips side by side. That would just be taking these strips and cutting them a certain length, maybe 3 inches, and then putting them side by side like a piano key. So that's called a piano key border. But I know I do not want to put the yellow and the turquoise in, so I don't want to add any other colors to it. All right, so that is my plan for that. Oh, now if you go over to my website with the Sew Along website, I love to make quilts. I have put out the little Christmas tree. Here, I'll show you the page. It's the same page. It's the same website where you do all of. I have my phone where you do all of your downloads for Wednesday on the Wednesday page. But what I have there is all the projects. So this is the banner for I Love to Make Quilts, right? And then when you scroll the page here, whoops, sorry, I clicked one. Let me get back. Okay, so when you scroll the page, these are all the projects. They're projects that we've done, projects that are going on. And then when you get to the end of that, it starts the Block Wednesday post. So that is, the website has stuff. It's usually, I have this big section at the top with each of the project pages, and then under it just starts the posts. I do run 2 websites. The other is my blog, where most of the things happen, because I've had that a lot longer. And then a couple years ago, I decided to build I Love to Make Quilts to keep a place for the sew-alongs, so I can keep track of everything. Was that a good idea to have 2? I don't know. I now have 2. So there you go. And if you're not getting my emails, be sure down below there is a link that you can go and put your email in, because that's how you keep track of everything and be sure that you don't miss the good stuff. Okay. You ready to sew? I am. I'm ready to sew right now. I know. So thank you for everything. I love you, my friends. I love you so much. You are amazing. Mwah. See you online.